Hello and welcome, I'm Thomas Porteous and you're watching The World Report on NewsX World. Let's take a look at some of the top headlines of this hour. Protesters gather in Minneapolis to demand federal immigration agents leave after a 37-year-old man is fatally shot by Border Patrol. Governor Tim Walz calls on President Trump to withdraw the agents as demonstrations and political tension grow over the incident. Donald Trump urges Minnesota's governor and Minneapolis mayor to hand over criminal illegal aliens for deportation. State and federal officials offer conflicting accounts of events leading up to the deadly shooting. China's President Xi Jinping calls India a good neighbour, friend and partner in a Republic Day message. Xi says bilateral ties are improving and important for global peace and prosperity. At least 104 political prisoners are released from jails across Venezuela, rights groups have said. Fora Penal says the release process is continuing and more freedoms are expected. A massive storm leaves over 1 million households without power and forces more than 10,000 flight cancellations across the US. Officials warn of life-threatening conditions from Texas to New England as at least 3 storm-related deaths are reported. President Zelensky says a US security guarantees document for Ukraine is 100% ready after talks with Washington and Moscow. Kyiv now awaits a signing date as Zelensky renews his push for EU membership by 2027. Meanwhile, over 1,300 apartment buildings in Kyiv remain without heating after Russian missile and drone attacks. Ukraine says a wave of strikes hits the energy grid, cutting power to 1.2 million properties nationwide. Israel says it will allow a limited reopening of Gaza's Rafah crossing with Egypt. The announcement comes as Palestinians report at least 3 killed in Israeli attacks across Gaza. We start in the Indo-Pacific this hour, and China's foreign ministry has stated that its recent trade arrangements with Canada are not targeted at any third party, responding to US President Donald Trump's threat to impose a 100% tariff on Canadian exports. The trade pact, which was signed on January the 16th, reveals a preliminary deal where Canada will allow 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles into its market at a reduced tariff rate of 6.1%, down from a previously imposed 100% surtax. And in exchange, China will cut duties on Canadian agricultural exports, specifically lowering canola seed oil tariffs to 15%, down from 85%. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiakun has urged countries to handle relations with a win-win rather than zero-sum mindset, and noted that China and Canada are simply addressing bilateral economic frictions. Let's listen in.
中国主张各国应以共赢而非零和的理念，以合作而非对抗的方式处理国与国的关系。中加构建新型战略伙伴关系，就妥善解决中加之间的经贸问题做出一些具体安排，体现了平等相待、开放包容、和平合作、共享共赢的精神，不针对任何第三方，符合两国人民共同利益，也有利于世界和平稳定与发展繁荣。
We're now joined by Andrew K.P. Leung. He is a China strategist and he joins us live from Hong Kong. What do you think of the statements here? Of course, Canada and China, the United States' top trading allies, other than Mexico, of course, making a deal without Washington. How do you think Donald Trump has read this?
Well, Donald Trump has already said that if Canada should have a almost a free trade agreement with China, he's going to impose 100% or even more higher tariffs on Canada. And Prime Minister Carney has responded by saying that is the current deal with China is only limited to the specific products of electric vehicles from China, lowering the tariffs because these vehicles are highly competitive and highly very good value for money. And then, of course, on China's side, importing agricultural products, canola seed oil from Canada. So it's not by no means a kind of comprehensive free trade agreement because China is, after all, regarded by Canada and various Western nations as a non-market economy, and also taking into account the United States, Canada, and Mexico have their own internal agreements and a completely free trade agreement with a perceived non-market economy could have impact on this relationship between Canada, United States, and Mexico, and hence this calibrated response.
And Andrew, of course, this follows Carney's well-received speech at Davos, with no mention of the United States directly, but it was pretty clear what Carney was getting at. He said, when rules no longer protect you, you must protect yourself, on why countries are thinking about this strategic autonomy when it comes to trade. Do you think Washington now feels threatened by this new warming of Beijing-Ottawa ties?
Well, as I said, I mean, as far as the Trump administration is concerned, what Trump doesn't want, of course, is China's footprint in the Western Hemisphere. And of course, Canada is a very, very large part of the Western Hemisphere. And hence, this blowback to Canada, threatening to impose 100% tariffs. But then the Prime Minister Carney's explanation, I think, has taken care of Trump's concerns, and it should at least calm down some of the rhetoric. But of course, that the United States under Donald Trump's 2.0 is completely throwing the rule-based order out of the window and also threatening allies, including its next door large neighbor and very close ally, the Canada, and also even NATO members imposing tariffs and wanting to take over annex Greenland, for example, belonging to Finland. So all these unilateralism and indeed imperialism is destroying a lot of trust of the Western allies' reliance on the United States, and hence everybody is scrambling to recalibrate the relationship with China. After all, China is the second largest economy, opens lots of opportunities. It's not to embrace China entirely because there are, of course, serious concerns on ideological and other fronts. But obviously, they don't want to tie their fortune to this so-called transatlantic relationship, which has proven to be highly unreliable, if not dangerous.
And Canada allowing 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles at a sharply reduced tariff. Is this a test case for China to crack North America's protectionist wall?
The numbers are carefully studied so as not to flood the Canadian market entirely. And of course, it's just to test the waters because the last thing that Canada want is for China's very competitive electric vehicles, not only in price, but in quality and technology and innovation, destroying Canada's car making industries entirely. So it's just a test of the market. But on the other hand, on the other side, on China's side, I think China's now learning how to deal with the concerns of the host countries. Indeed, even though China's electric vehicles are highly competitive, very good value for money, the last thing that China would like is just to destroy key industries in all the host countries that would worsen the kind of negative view of China. So I think that the China is beginning to outsource some of the production, the vehicle production in the host countries, so as to create jobs in the host countries and bringing economic benefits, creating a more win-win kind of partnership.
Okay, do stay with us, Andrew, as we move on to our next story. And an earthquake of magnitude 5.5 has struck near the rural county of Tewo in Gansu province in western China, which raised its magnitude from 5.2. According to reports, the earthquake was at a depth of 10 kilometers. Gansu is an earthquake-prone region located on the northern edge of the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau. Earlier in 2023, a magnitude of 6.2 earthquake struck the Gansu province and the neighbouring province of Qinghai. It was one of the most severe earthquakes since 2014, which had claimed the lives of 150 people. We turn over to a new story now, and the US Under Secretary of Defense Elbridge Colby and South Korean Defense Minister Yan Gu-bak agreed on January the 26th to deepen cooperation on South Korea's pursuit of a nuclear-powered submarine. The move is part of South Korea's growing responsibility in regional defense, particularly in deterring North Korea. Colby's visit to Seoul is his first overseas trip in the role, with Washington signaling that South Korea should take a more leading role in peninsular defense. The Pentagon's new national defense strategy suggests a more limited US role, with South Korea assuming primary responsibility for countering North Korea's threats. This agreement underscores the strengthening of the US-South Korea alliance. Andrew K.P. Leung joins us again to discuss this. Would a South Korean nuclear-powered submarine militarily change the deterrence equation with North Korea in the peninsula?
Well, the nuclear submarine deal between South Korea and the United States must be seen in the context of the geopolitics in the region. It's not just between South Korea and North Korea and the United States, it's the whole Asia Pacific, particularly targeting at the rise of China and China's growing influence and military capabilities in the region, not only just on Taiwan, but also in the South China Sea and other neighboring countries, territorial claims, but also Americans' dominance in the region. And part of this dynamics is the deterrence of the U.S. Navy, particularly in terms of nuclear capable submarines and nuclear power, and also nuclear armed submarines. But unfortunately, submarines need to be built, and the American shipbuilding capacity has been almost evacuated over the decades. Now, throughout the world, in terms of shipbuilding capacity, out of every 1,000 ships built, the United States only accounts for less than 10. Whereas China occupies the lion's share, over half of the total share. So I think that the United States would like to rely on the shipbuilding capacity of South Korea, and South Korea at least have much greater shipping capacity than the United States, hence this nuclear submarine deal.
Indeed. And Andrew, how might Pyongyang respond to this, militarily or politically, especially as time goes on and it develops further?
Well, South Korea, of course, wants a peaceful situation over the Korean Peninsula, particularly with North Korea. So it doesn't want to go head to head against China. But on the other hand, it is part of the balancing dynamics. The United States wants South Korea perhaps ally with Japan as a outsource balancing against China. And South Korea wants the presence of the United States to contain the threat from North Korea and also balancing against some of the influence of China. So I think that this is all amounts to balancing.
Yes, Andrew KP Leung, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. It's a pleasure to talk to you as always. We now move on, and according to officials, a private jet has crashed at Bangor International Airport in the US state of Maine. The Bombardier Challenger 600 went down while taking off with 8 people on board. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating the incident, but the conditions of those on the plane are not yet known. The Bangor Fire Department, along with neighbouring departments in Glenburn and Hermon, rushed to the scene. Airport authorities closed the runway and later shut down the airport completely, asking the public to avoid the area. Emergency crews are expected to remain on site for several more hours. Passengers are advised to contact their airlines for travel updates as authorities continue their response. The FAA continues to investigate the cause of the crash. Gold prices have surged to a record high above $5,100 an ounce, extending a historic rally as investors piled into the safe haven asset amid rising geopolitical uncertainties. Spot gold were up 2.2% at $5,089.78 per ounce by 6:56 a.m. GMT, after earlier touching an all-time high of $5,110.5 of US gold. Futures for February delivered also gained the same amount to $5,086.30 per ounce. Gold soared 64% in 2025, its biggest annual gain since 1979, driven by safe haven demand, US monetary policy easing, robust central bank purchases, including China's 14th straight month of buying in December, and record inflows into exchange-traded funds. Gold, of course, has seen its record high hit over the past year, and they have surged to a record high above 5,100 an ounce, extending a historic rally as investors piled into the safe haven asset amid the rising geopolitical tensions currently that we are seeing in 2025. Gold soared 64% in 2025, its biggest annual gain since 1979. It was driven by a combination of factors, including safe haven demand, US monetary policy, robust central bank purchases, including China's 14th straight month of buying in December, and record inflows into exchange-traded funds. Joining us now is Sunny Arora, a Managing Director of SP Jewelers Private Limited, joining us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us, Sunny. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. How do you foresee the ongoing geopolitical tensions and economic uncertainty influencing the sustainability of gold's rally in 2026?
The rising geopolitical tensions, I think the gold will get a good support this time. It acts as a safe haven in these tension times and gives the investors a good hedge. You see the stock market going down. So I think the gold to get a good support in these times.
And based on your experience of the market, how do you see the prices affecting the gold market?
So the pricing affecting the gold market, I think it will definitely increase customer trust and confidence. If the prices, increase and surge at this rate, you'll definitely increase the confidence of the customers in the market. We can see a temporary lower down in demand, but that'll be really temporarily. And in long run, you'll see if the prices go high, which they will, you'll see a good customer base and a good gold market return and a good customer buying these in this time.
Yeah, and given the rising global demand for safe haven assets and the significant gains in precious metals, how do you expect the relationship between US foreign policy decisions, particularly those under the Trump administration, and investor behavior in gold and silver markets to evolve moving forward?
So I think under the Trump administration, which is very uncertain, you can see gold and silver getting really strong this times. It attracts more customers, more investors in this time, and gold and this in this volatile situation, gold and silver being the safest haven. I think gold being the safest will really will see a high demand in both. As silver is highly used in industrial use also, and for international use. So under the US administration, you'll really see gold getting high demands and getting a strong position.
Sunny Aurora, thank you very much for taking the time and joining us.